All right, we're going to keep it hopping. Jim Rohn once said, if you are not willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. And I think it goes hand in hand. Albert Einstein once said, try not to be a person of success, but rather a person of value. It's a privilege to be able to bring to the stage someone who represents an individual who made a decision at a point in his life where he and his wife together actually were relatively comfortable, but he still felt it was the usual. So he chose to risk it. And he did so by giving value. In fact, when you meet him, he'll let you know that he just likes to call himself the everyman kind of person. Graduated from high school, never went to college, got a job in a restaurant, working as a busboy. After a couple of years said, don't think this is it. Joined the military. He's an honorably discharged veteran of our armed forces, helping keep us all safe. When he got out of the Air Force, he went to work for an automotive parts company. And he was able to, but you could see the beginning of possibility because he saw things others didn't see in the automotive parts business of all things, but he took it from $50,000 a year to over $1 million a year, showing how to give greater incentives. He went from that to becoming a real estate appraiser, got up to $80,000 a year and said, I feel I'm doing good. His wife was an insurance adjuster for about $60,000 a year, so $140,000 a year. We're really doing well. When he said he had a mentor who said, there's just no reason not to have a plan B, not to have a backup plan, which he thought made sense, wasn't quite sure what it would be, and somebody approached him about this thing called network marketing. And so he said, I kind of went into it reluctantly, but then I realized if you're going to do it, do it. If you're not, don't, but you got to give it a shot, and really give it a shot. And he went at it. It's not like it was an overnight success. At the end of the first year, he had replaced his appraiser income. At the end of the second year, he had replaced his wife's adjuster income. And so now they could work together. As he said, she was really the spousal support. Today, we work our business hand in hand, but it was so critical because we've worked it as a team from day one. He said, but by year 4 or 5 as a team, we got to $1 million a year. Now in their 15-year career, they've got over $25 million in earnings. They are a multiple 7-figure per year couple. And he's here to bring it to you at light speed. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to GoPro stage, Mr. Tyler Daniels. Guys, all the way to the top. Let me hear it. Raise the roof. Whoa, yes. GoPro. Man, you guys are awesome. I'm excited to be out here, you guys. I've been sitting back there in the back. I've been taking notes. I didn't realize I was going to have to change my entire presentation because everybody says the same shit I always say. Thanks for that, Jeff. What'd they say? That's super. But I love you guys. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here. But I owe Eric and Marina a little bit of an apology. I told him this backstage. He goes, you just weren't ready at the time. See, 2 years ago, he gave me a chance to stand on this stage. And I said no. Can you guys imagine that? Can you imagine saying no in a time when social media is all about branding yourself and you got an opportunity to stand in here with all your peers and you just said no to Eric Worre? Can you imagine doing that? That's what I did 2 years ago. You want to know why? I said 2 years ago because I thought I was going to bring my team here to hang out with all of you and they would think the grass is greener somewhere else. I was one of those guys. I was one of those guys that Eric talked about in the very beginning that didn't support this thing. And I'm standing up here right now ashamed of that opinion. Do you guys agree? So I want to ask Eric and Marina for their forgiveness 2 years ago. I should have been a part of this thing 2 years ago. I should have been a part of this thing 5 years ago. I look around this stadium. I look around and I look at all these empty chairs. Why are there empty chairs in this building? I told Eric in the back, I said, let me tell you something. On the 10-year anniversary, because that's what it is next year, right? On the 10-year anniversary, we better have standing room only in this place. Who's with me? Let's pack this house, okay? Let me tell you why I said no, though, another reason. There was actually a legitimate reason why I said no. I built this business for a paycheck just like everyone else. I like those big checks. I like those big 6-figure checks. It's fun. But I built those checks so that I could be where I needed to be in those moments that mattered.
that why you guys are building this business? Oh yeah, you're building this so you can be where you need to be in the moments that matter? So my little girl's in here somewhere. Where's my baby girl at? Where is she? Stand up. Top right somewhere, I told. Where is she? Oh, right up there in the very, very top. Look at her right up there, you guys. That's my baby girl. Her name's Madison, okay? Her name's Madison. 2 years ago, my daughter was playing basketball, and I needed to be at her basketball games because those are the moments that matter. See that little girl? Stay standing up. Stay standing up. I'm going to be in so much trouble when we're done. I'll be in so much trouble. That little girl right there has her name in the record books in the state of Utah for shooting three-pointers. She hit 8 three-pointers in a game as a freshman in a varsity game. It was stupid. That little girl right there did it again when she was a sophomore. That's what she did. As a sophomore, she did 8 in a game again. She has 143s in her varsity career. That puts her top 20 in the entire state ever. Is that a big deal? Ever, at any level, ever. That's awesome, okay? You want to know where she learned how to do that? Magic Johnson, no, just kidding. You don't think it was me? I mean, come on. Like, I get it. I look more like the ball than a player. I get it. I understand. I get it. You wonder where she learned how to do that? She learned it at events like this. Since that little girl's been 4 years old, since she was 4 years old, I had her around all of you. We won trips. Instead, I brought my kids with me. You want to know why? I brought my kids with me because the people that were whispering in their ears, the people that were talking, that were saying things like this, you can do anything you want. Don't listen to what society's telling you got to do. Don't live in that little box. What do? We tell people you can have big dreams, right? That little girl had a school teacher one time say to her, they said, I want you to write down what your dreams are. And she wrote, I want to play in the WNBA. That's what she said. There was a time, you guys, I couldn't find her for a couple days. I went down to her room. I go, what are you doing down here? She goes, Dad, it's the NBA draft. Yeah. That teacher looked at that little thing where she said WNBA, and she stood in front of the room and said, I expect you guys to write something down that is real. Yeah, that's what they said to her. I'm not that protective, but I ride Harleys. I don't know if you can tell. And I got friends. Write down something that's real. Still my daughter's dream, really? I've been telling that little girl since she was 4 years old, you can do anything you want. And you're going to tell her she has to write down something real? Really? Really? I think we should pay our school teachers 10, 15 times what we do so we can put some good people in there, right? That kind of pisses me off. All right, you guys, let me change subjects here just a little bit. Let me jump into something. Let me take you back to the very, very first event that I was ever invited to. I want to tell you guys who I was, because I know there's people on your team that were a lot like me. I was 22 years old. I was in the United States Air Force, which, by the way, I don't care what country you're from. If you served for your country, I want you to stand up right now. Stand up. Let me see who you are. That's a brotherhood. I don't care what country you're in. That's a brotherhood right there. Thank you.
You're unbelievable.
I served in the United States Air Force. I was 22 years old, and I got invited to one of these things. And I'm going to tell you my other story here in just a minute, but I got invited to come to one of these things, and I thought I knew everything. He said, you got to come to one of these events. All the big leaders, they come to these events because you're going to learn something. You got to go. And I'm like, I don't need to go to that stuff. I don't need to go. What are they going to do? Have us stand on put our little lighter up and sing songs? Is that what they're going to have us do? Are they going to have us do one of them? Oh, yes. Are they going to do one of those kind of things, right? Is that what they're going to have us do? Like, I don't need to go to that stuff. In fact, I'd made so many mistakes, you guys, after a senior in high school, that I had to start doing some things a little bit better. And I made below the zone in the United States Air Force. What that means Is that you're in the top 5% of the rank advancements in that military branch. That's what it means. So I kind of thought I was some hot shit with my $640 every 2-week paycheck. That was huge. Well, my friend called me out on it. He said, Tyler, we got to go to these things. I said, I don't need to go. I'm self-motivated. I don't need to go to these things. He goes, I know you think you're big. I know you think you're big with that paycheck. But the people standing on that stage are going to make 6 figures a year. They wouldn't trade places with you. That's pretty big, right? That's pretty big. Now, what has Eric got up here? He's got 7-figure earners on this stage and some multiple, right? Should you be at these events? Why is there empty chairs? Where's your team? I ended up going to that event, you guys, because he said this one thing. He started to appeal to my ego. He said, Tyler, I want you just to come to the event, and I want you to judge everybody on that stage. And I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. I love judging people, right? I mean, Fraser said he sits over in the UK and does it all the time. Or they're judging him, one of the two, right? I love judging people. So I went there. I sat there and I watched him, and he kept nudging me. He goes, what do you think of that one? And man, I had notes. Well, they did this wrong, and they did this wrong, and it'd have been nice if they'd have been funny, right? I can't believe that person's making 6 figures a year. Really, them? That person's got a beard. Right? So we get done with the event. He looks at me, he kind of elbows me. He goes, what do you think? And I'm like, dude, if those people are making 6 figures a year, I'm going to murder this thing. Right? And that's what got me here. That's what got me going. I'm a little teeny bit competitive. Barely. Just barely. Okay? At our house, let me tell you something. You don't have a competitive house if the monopoly money's not all like crinkled up in balls if you've thrown it at people for their rent. Right? You're not competitive if you ain't done that. If you have all the pieces in that game, you're not competitive at your house. At our house, that board gets thrown across the room. A little teeny bit competitive, you guys. I saw that event, and I thought, if those guys can do it, I'm going to do it. And I've sat at the front of these rooms ever since. I've done it here. I've judged every single person on this stage. I don't know if you guys knew that. Probably don't care. Okay? But I have. You know what I've been doing? I've been asking myself, has anybody done something on this stage that you can't do? I ask myself that every single time. So I'm going to ask, has anybody done something up here that you can't do? I don't believe you. Nobody's done anything up here you can't do. Maybe they're a little further along, that's fine. Maybe they're a little further along. They haven't done anything you can't do. Nothing. Everything that's been done up here, you can do. So let me give you guys this little teeny piece of advice, okay? This game is about the invite. If you have to be an expert at something, you need to be an expert at the invite. And I don't mean inviting them to your company or just inviting them to your friends, but you've got to invite them to your upline. You've got to invite them to your corporate team. You've got to invite them to these events. It's not just inviting them before they get in. You've got to invite them everywhere after too. Does that make sense? So let me do this. This is the one thing I need you guys to write down. I want you to get your books out real quick. And I want you at the very top of the page, I just want you to write, strengthen my message. Not strengthen Tyler's message. You want to write strengthen MY message. Write that down. I'm going to give you 4 things you got to do, okay? I'm going to give you 4 things so that you can be better at getting people to this event, because we got to pack this house next year. It is the 10th anniversary, 10 years that Eric and Marina have given their lives to this industry, and we need to pack this house, right? So I want you to write these 4 things down. Don't number them. Don't number them. Just write them down, okay? I want you to write down product or service at the top, because I don't know what your company has. Product or service at the top. I want you to write compensation plan, structure on the next line, okay? I know some people say those things just take care of themselves, but not on my team. I want you to know. I want you to know if you put everybody straight down one leg, it's probably not going to work out so well, right? Okay? Compensation plan, structure. I want you to write company on the next line, and then I want you to write industry on the 4th one. I'm going to tell you guys how to become really, really great inviters, okay? Some of you guys are really, really good at one of those little pieces. I want you to write a number 1 next to it. Just write a number 1. Don't think them through. Just go, okay, I'm really good at my product or service, if that's what it is. Write a number 1 next to it, okay? Now rank the rest. Rank the rest, real quick, okay? Your job for the next 12 months, your job, if you want to be big in this game, your job is to look at everything that's not a number 1 on there and turn it into a number 1. Okay? And I'll tell you what my list is. My list of compensation plan structure. That's my game. Okay? That's my game. I was a real estate appraiser. It's my game. Compensation plan structure. I love it. It's easy. I like teaching on stage. I usually do the comp plan at my company, and everybody that comes to my class knows it's going to be a math class. They're not all happy. Okay. Compensation plan structure is my thing. Number 2 would be my company and the industry on my list. And that'd be a number 2 next to each one of those, because I feel pretty good about talking about my company and pretty good about talking about this industry. I've gone out and decided to strengthen my message in those places where the very first objections come in. It's not usually about your product or service, is it? It's usually about this industry. It's a stereotype of our industry. Wouldn't you guys agree? Doesn't it make sense to learn a little bit about that so we can start shattering some of those stereotypes? That's why we're here. Eric does an incredible job of helping us do that, don't you think? That's why we're here. You got to shatter that stereotype with me, okay? And then my product and services, I don't even know if it's in my top 4. I feel like my company does all that for me, okay? And I'm doing all these things, you guys, because in my life, I made so many mistakes that I needed something to work. I needed some kind of a comeback. Is there anybody in here that would like the comeback of your life? Yeah, just a few of you? Okay. Anybody in here that's been divorced? You might not want to raise your hand for the next one. Anybody got DUI? Any of you guys made a mistake so big that you didn't get that promotion at work? Any of you guys letting yesterday's mistakes limit tomorrow's successes? Anybody doing that? See, if you strengthen your message, you can help overcome that. I want to tell you guys a really quick story to wrap this thing up. I've only got about 10 minutes left. So let me just tell you guys a really quick story. We all know who this person is. This guy has 79 wins. 79 wins, and he's got 14 majors in golf. Do you know who I'm talking about? Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, 79 wins. Number 2 on both those lists. Number 2 on both those lists. And then 5 years ago, his private life became all of our public life. Wouldn't you agree? Did you hear all the stuff people were saying? I'm going to show you.
You getting excited that maybe Tiger is coming back? No. No.
Tiger's competitive career is over.
Yes.
Competitive.
Yes. I think so.
Return. I've been sure you get this question a lot. Do you think he'll return his previous form?
No.
I mean, this is a guy who is no longer scaring anybody out there.
Are you giving up on Tiger?
I'm giving up on him ever winning anything ever again.
No.
Can he compete with the young guns on tour, the Justin Thomases, Jordan Spieths, Dustin Johnsons? No, is the short answer.
I think in reality, I don't think we'll ever see Tiger Woods win a golf tournament again.
You can see he's trying. He looks at Dustin, and Dustin has the most obvious physical advantages on the tour right now. Well, Tiger Woods used to be that person. And, you know, the way they've worked out was completely different. I don't know what Dustin's doing, but it's right. I don't know what Tiger did, but I'm pretty darn sure it was wrong.
I don't like his mentality.
Short game is gone. His health is gone.
The next press release Tiger Woods should be I'm retiring.
Can you believe that? That's brutal, right? How would you guys like to have your community talk about you like that? Would it start to affect you a little teeny bit? Let me tell you what happened with Tiger Woods. Not only did the golfing community fail him, leave him, sponsors leaving him left and right, but his body started to fail him too. He started having knee surgeries and back surgeries, which for a golfer is a pretty big deal, don't you think? Knee surgeries and back surgeries, started having all those things. All these people in his ear, every time he would tee it up, people chirping at him. You're never going to be it. You're not going to come back. But there was one person in his life who knew. Who do you think that was? That was him. So 2018 rolls around, you guys. He plays in 22 tournaments this year. 22 tournaments. If you went and actually added all the points that he made in those 22 tournaments and you divide it by 22, he's number 1 in the world again. And after you get done playing those tournaments, you guys, after you get done with all the knee surgeries, all the back surgeries, all the missed cuts, after playing those 22 tournaments this year, they take the top 30 golfers and they put them into the Tour Championship. They put them into the final event. They say, you guys are the best this year. Let's see who wins.
No matter, the tap in for Tiger. We thought we'd never see it. And I don't believe he thought either. Tour Championship winner. Tiger Woods, a winner again. Number 80.
Number 80, right? That's a comeback. One of the announcers said the comeback is complete. How would you like to experience that in your life? Would that be pretty amazing? You know this industry will allow you to do that, right? You go strengthen your message, you get butts and seats. Isn't that what Eric said? You get butts and seats? You get butts and seats and you win. You get butts and seats and you're going to be having the comeback of your life. Now, I'm going to wrap this thing up, you guys, with a story I've never told from stage. I've got a lot of friends in here. I'm going to tell you guys a story I've never told from stage. It's a real personal story about it. The reason that I feel like I've had the comeback of my life, and it involves my family, it involves some early successes, some early failures of my life that I had to overcome. You guys want to hear it? I know I don't look like it today, but I was a 4-year letterman in 3 different sports. Small school. Small school. 4-year letterman in 3 sports. I was an academic All-State in 2. For my junior year and my senior year as a baseball player. It's not bad, right? 3.9 grade point average, academic All-State. But my passion was wrestling. That was my thing. I was a 140-pound wrestler. Getting into high school, I was undefeated. Undefeated getting into high school. I go in there in my freshman year and find out those guys are pretty good. Kind of hard to make the varsity team. I wasn't quite as good an athlete as my daughter is. That was for you, baby. I get into my freshman year and I can't even make the varsity team. I'm a JV guy. But in the wrestling world, if you're a good enough JV wrestler, you can actually go to state. You can actually go and place in state because you get enough points throughout the year. And I did. I took 7th place as a freshman at state. Not bad. Thought I was going to be a 4-year state champion. My sophomore year, I take 5th place in state. I was still a JV guy. The guys that were in my weight class, you guys, they were the superstars. They were the state champion guys. They were in the top 3 every single year. I finally made the varsity team in my junior year, and I took 3rd in state. So in my mind, I'm progressively stepping forward, kind of like moving through the ranks, right? I'm just moving up, learning a little bit, sharpening that little bit of wrestling skill, right? I get into my senior year, and this is going to be my year. I'm going to take state. It's my one place I'm going to get that big state ring that everybody wants. And there's one guy in my weight class that I can't beat. I wrestled him 6 times. He beat me by 8 total points. How close is that? Pretty close. So I get to the state championship, you guys. I'm looking at the brackets. It turns out he and I are in the same side of the bracket, which means we're going to meet in the semis. And I am like, you have got to be shitting me right now. The one guy I can't beat, right? The one guy I can't beat. I'm going to meet him in the semis. And so I get there, and this is my only chance. And here we go again. It's 3rd quarter. He's up by 1. 18 seconds left. It's do or die. It's do or die. And I had this real moment of clarity. Kind of like some of you guys have had when you're out doing your recruiting and you're inviting. That moment of clarity because you sharpened the knife. My CEO came to me one day. He goes, Tyler, you need to sharpen your knife. I asked him why. He goes, you need a moment of clarity. And I had this moment of clarity. There was 18 seconds on the clock, and I knew that my tendency was to fake right and then ankle pick to the left. That's what I'd been doing all year, and if you watch the film on me, that's what they knew I was going to do. So I said, I'm going to fake left and ankle pick to the right. I had a single leg so deep in there that he ended up laying over my shoulder. I'm like, you really? I mean, this could be it, and I get 2 points for taking him down. But I look at the clock, and there's 15 seconds left, and I know if I put him on the mat, he's probably going to get up and get away and get a point and tie it all back up. So I pick him up. Now visualize this, you guys. It's in a place kind of like this. Big wrestling mat. It's the only one in the middle. You come out of a smoky tunnel because, that's what it's like. That's what it's like. It's cool. It's really cool, okay? And I got this guy on my shoulder, and the coaches are freaking out. I mean, they're like, my coach like, put him down, take him down, put him down, take him down. And I'm like, I got this. I'm going to take him down in like 3 seconds. Right? He's not going anywhere. He's on my shoulder. He can't go anywhere. And with 3 seconds, I laid him on the mat and got my 2 points, and I won that match. That's a big deal, right? I'm going to state finals. So I roll back out that smoky tunnel. I get out there. Right before that match, this guy was such a good sportsman. He came up to me and said, Tyler, you're going to kill this guy. I beat him by 15 points in region. I go, really? He goes, yeah, you're a state champion. And I go, I really appreciate it. And he goes, at least my claim to fame is I beat the state champion more than he beat me this year. Well, that's all right. You know what happened to me? My head got about this big. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to finish the race. See, some of you guys are really rapidly moving through your ranks, and it's time to go into management mode, and you're not going to finish the race. I decided I'm going to beat this guy, so I forgot to prepare for the final match. after the first period, he's beating me by 4 points. He took me down twice in the first period. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. This is not how this is supposed to work. This is not what I envisioned. Well, I was able to fight back, but he still beat me by 2. And I took second place, never getting my state ring. That pain of that loss has driven me and everything else in my life. It's why I'm so compelled. I don't ever want to feel that feeling again. Have any of you guys ever felt that? It sucks. It also started a downward spiral in my life. Drinking, girls. I'm one of those statistics, you guys, and this is where the story gets real personal. I was a father at 19. My dad's a probation and parole officer. And he brought it home. He's also extremely spiritual in his church. Very high ranking in his church. I'm the oldest of 7. Supposed to be the example for my brothers and sisters. And I just got a girl pregnant in high school. How well do you think that went over? So my dad pulls me down in his bedroom and he hands me $500. And he looks at me and I say, what's this for? I mean, I knew I didn't deserve it. It's not a congratulations, you know. And he looks at me and he goes, Tyler, I don't ever want to see you again. Yeah. And I had another moment of clarity, you guys. I took that $500 and I put it back on his dresser and I said, then you never will. And I walked out. And he didn't see me for a lot of years, and still to this day, it's not very good. But I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision to do something with my life and overcome. I had to take some personal responsibility, which is what I'm going to ask every single one of you guys to do. Somebody else doesn't have to do this business for you. Your upline doesn't have to do this business for you. You have to do this business for you. So I took the opportunity, you guys, to have massive success. And you don't have to love this about my personality, but when I started making money, I moved back to that little town. I built the biggest house in that little town. I'm not going to do the thing the last guy did here, but that's what I was doing. Everywhere, all you people didn't think I was going to be anything. That little town, when I got that girl pregnant, was saying, that guy, he just messed up. He'll never be anything in life. And then I built the biggest house. You can have whatever you want. Okay? Now, Eric told you got to be really careful with this. He said, you got to be careful. You got to be careful with what I'm going to tell you right now. And I agree with him. But there's really only one question for all of you guys. And the question is whether or not you're going to do whatever it takes. See you later.
Whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes, 'cause
Mr. Tyler Daniels!
whatever it takes.
Way to go, brother. All right, here we go.